Good afternoon, everyone. Retire on dividends here. It's very sunny, so obviously this is not the commute to work, which is in the dark. This is the commute home from work, which is, luckily it's still light out. I tried to make a video this morning. My voice was not cooperating, so I got like 10-15 minutes into it and I had to give up. So I'll make one more attempt. If it goes well, I'll post it. If not, whatever. So anyway, let's get to it. One thing I wanted to talk about was how the YieldMax funds work, because everyone's been getting mad about the weekly calls and saying they should just stop the weekly calls and do the synthetic. But obviously, if you take the weekly calls out of the YieldMax process and they just own the synthetic, what would happen is they can only pay you basically the profits that they make on the stock. So, if the underlying is Tesla and they do the synthetic, which is a buy, call, sell, put, and Tesla goes up 10% by the expiration date of the synthetic, which is typically 3 months out or so, then sure, they could pay you 10% within 3 months. However, it's those months in between where they really need to generate income. And so unless they're going to do synthetics that expire, weekly, monthly, etc., then that strategy obviously will not work. Plus, the reason these funds work is because they do two things, right? Not just the synthetic, which is a great weapon, which obviously all it does is mimic the underlying. It's not rocket science. But they sell calls, right? So they sell calls, which, yes, it limits the upside, but it provides premium. So they're able to pay you the premium from the weekly calls plus what they make on the synthetics. So if one goes bad, then usually the other picks up. And you find that out a lot with Coney, because Coney, this week, man, they're gonna get, it's right now it's 4:22. When I go home, I'm gonna see what the trades are. But yeah, it's not gonna be pretty. They're gonna lose massively on the weekly calls. But guess what? Their synthetic will make up for it. So it's all good, but for like TSLY, they are, I don't know this for sure, but they're probably going to lose out on the weekly calls. And the synthetic is not really making that much money, so they're in a tough spot. But all they have to do is sell out calls a little further out of the money, and that would have been just fine. But they're getting greedy, and it's gonna it burns them. And you figure, well, hopefully after the reverse split announcement, the fund manager, or maybe a new fund manager, does a better job. But we'll see. But yeah, that's my thought on how the funds work and how you need the synthetic position on top of weekly calls. It's just a great duo if used properly. And granted, Tesla's not the only one, guys. There's other ones that work great. I mean, look at almost all of them. Like NVIDIA is just insane. If you guys owned NVIDIA from the beginning and just kept buying NVIDIA, you would be just, all in love with these funds. But the fact that most people put all their money in Tesla, everyone's just aggravated. They're angry. They've had it. Because I see all the comments and everything, and rightfully so, man. I don't like some of the moves either, and I don't like the way it's headed. But again, the underlying is not helping. But again, it's not the only fund. This is why you need to diversify. So important to diversify. Again, that's why I had to sell 500 shares, because I was like, I can't do this. Like, it's too much. Like, too much of my portfolio is reliant on TSLY. And I didn't even sell enough, but I sold off like a third of my shares. So it gave me a little satisfaction. So now I could round up and properly diversify. Because, my rule, again, I like 5% at most each position, which which I'm not there yet, but I will be there, and I'll feel really good about it. But I have to like at least 20 positions for that to work. Right now, I don't even have 20 positions in my taxable. Okay, but yeah, that's that. But one thing I also want to talk about is my other strategy, my new strategy that I plan on doing, and that is other things. I'm going to do other things in my account. So my wife's retirement account, I talked about a little on a couple other videos. The plan with that account is to, set it up for retiring on dividends. But as I do that, right now I have cash in there that I can play around with. And at the time, Tesla was around like 183, 180-ish range. I was like, you know what? While this money's sitting here, let me just buy Tesla. After all, once it hits 180, it always goes back up. So let me just buy it in chunks. So I bought 5 shares, and then guess what? It dropped. So you know what I did? I bought 5 more shares. And then the next day or a couple days later, guess what happened? It dropped again. So I bought 5 more shares. And then a week or two later, it dropped again. And guess what? When I say dropped, it dropped under my cost basis. And then I bought 5 more shares. So I had 20 shares, and then Tesla, kind of went and blast off. So it hit 200 today, hit 200 yesterday too. But so my strategy now is I'm going to sell it in portions as well. I bought it in 5, I'm going to sell it in 5. So today I sold 5 shares. I did a limit sell of 5 shares at $200. So I'm going to do 3 other limit sells. I don't know what price yet. I got to figure it out. And I'm going to make a profit. And then if Tesla keeps going up past, after I sold all of them, that'll suck. But there's nothing I could do. But if Tesla just goes back down, eventually back under my cost basis, then I'll continue to buy, 5 per day as long as it's under my cost basis. So that's my strategy as far as trading goes. Swing trading, not day trading. This is like swing trading. Honestly, I'm gonna do the same with coin, which is insanely risky. But guys, I track these funds every day, so I gotta utilize this to my advantage. Like I see where they're moving. I don't use the charts, like the tactical stock scalper. Nice plug there for you. I'm not a chart guy. I'm a numbers guy. I see where the numbers go. Okay, it goes down here, and guess what? It comes back up. It's almost inevitable. I mean, it just happened on Tesla. Problem is, I don't know where it's going to go from here, right? From 200, where's it going to go? Is it going to go to 220, or is it going to go back to 180? But I have to be okay with either direction. So I want to put my sell orders at a reasonable price that is not like ridiculously high, and at the same time it's not like too low that I'm not going to get the full advantage of the capital gain. So I got to play this right, and I'll make additional money, and it's great. Just because why not, right? And I want to do this in my taxable, but the problem is I need cash. So I'll have to do this like in shares of 1, which obviously is not, not going to have the same excitement, same effect, because it's less money. But, again, my taxable is really what I can use now. So if I could build that up too, again, that's called the Retire Now account. If I could build up the Retire Now account and buy more dividend stocks, then I can retire now. So that's one plan. The other plan, which I'll make a video on, is I'm gonna start trading options. I'm just, I got to do it. I've been watching. I track these funds all the time, and obviously, I love doing options. I'm no expert by any means, but I know the basics, and I just love doing it. So About a month or two ago, I was like, I'm going to use TSLL, and I was like, no, that's too risky. And I'm like, you know what? Screw it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trade options on TSLL. TSLL is a 1.5x ETF of Tesla. So as you know, Tesla, trades all over the place. It's very risky to trade options on. So you can imagine a 1.5x Tesla one. But it's priced around $10. So here's my plan. I'm going to do the wheel. So today, which again, I'll talk about in a separate video with visuals and everything. Today I sold a put on TSLL, one contract, which is 100 shares of, sold a put for $10. It was about 10 and change, 10.05, 10.10. And I made about 35 cents, which is $35. And that's for 1 week. So it's a very respectable yield for 1 week, which again, I'll cover tomorrow. But, and the goal is, again, selling put is bullish. So if TSLL closes next week above $10, guess what? That option expires worthless, okay? Which means I get my money back. Because right now, when you sell a put, they take your collateral. They take $1,000 from your account and they hold it as collateral in case it gets executed. If it gets executed, which means the price of TSLL is going to be below $10 by expiration, they will take my $1,000, they will spend it, and they will give it to the buyer, and in return, I get 100 shares of TSLL. And if that happens, guess what I'm going to do? What's the other side of the wheel? Selling calls. So I would sell calls, most likely at the same price, $10. It depends where TSLL lands. If TSLL is at like $9.50, sure, yeah, I'm going to sell calls at $10. If TSLL went down to $8, then I'm not going to sell calls. I would have to do, another strategy, which is kind of like a rescue mission. I think, I forget his name, Alan something. He's like the options expert on YouTube. I forget his name. Sorry, Alan, but he's very popular, and he's an old man, but he knows his stuff. You should check him out if you like options. But I think he calls it the rescue mission, which means, okay, that put, I got a sign, I'm kind of underwater, like I own these at a $10 cost basis, and it's priced at $8. I can't sell calls at $10. Why? Because the premium won't be, decent. And I can't sell them at $9 because I don't want to lose money. So what am I going to do? I'm going to sell, I'm going to have another 1,000 available. Well, in reality, I only just need like 800. And then I would sell puts at $8. I would sell one contract, $8 strike, sell a put at $8. And if that gets assigned, then guess what? Now I have 200 shares with a $9 cost basis, right? 100 at 8 and 100 at 10. And then hopefully, with my $9 cost basis, I can sell calls and get a decent premium. However, if the same thing happens and TSLL continues to go down, and it goes down to, say $7 or whatever, then, I'll have to do the same exact thing. I'll have to get more money, sell another put with a lower strike, and then guess what? My cost basis will go down. And then I'll repeat that until eventually, the stock recovers, the ETF recovers. So, hopefully that makes sense. And another option is to not get assigned is, I could roll it. So, that first example, which for this week I sold a put at $10. If it expire, say on Friday it's at $9.50, and I don't want to get assigned, what I could do is roll it. You guys are familiar with that term from YieldMax, but if I roll it, that's a buy to close, so I have to pay an amount to close the position, and then I would sell a put for the new position. So a buy to close put, and then sell to open put, and then hopefully the credit would be enough to be a respectable amount. But if it's not, I may just let it get executed. It all depends. So my immediate plan is to keep $3,000 cash available for this particular stock ETF, and leave that alone and make it available for, this process. Because again, you need funds for the rescue mission. You can't rely, my first time around doing options, I made that mistake. I sold puts on TQQQ, which is a triple leveraged ETF on QQQ. And it was like 70 something bucks at the time. I don't know what it is now. But I only had enough for one contract, 100 shares of that, right? Which is 7,000 bucks or so. And okay, I got assigned and I couldn't sell calls without losing money. Well, because I had to stop, what I was doing, I kept rolling the put. Eventually, I had to pay to roll the put, so I'm like, all right, I'm just going to get it executed. And then you get executed, and the price doesn't recover, you're screwed. Because I didn't have any money to sell additional puts to lower my cost basis. So that was, huge mistake. I made that mistake on TQQQ. I made that mistake on AMC. Well, I made the mistake on messing with AMC in general. Because that's for those of you that know, the diamond hand world, AMC, GME, those are the get rich stocks, right? The short squeeze stocks that never happened. It kind of happened a little. It happened a lot on GME in the beginning, and then it happened a little on AMC. But it's just nothing's happening ever since. But yeah, I tried to get a little piece of that action. Well, I was just doing the options part because it's so volatile. And then I got my butt whooped. So it was very, very stupid. And then after that, my options journey led to doing the wheel strategy on stocks like PETS, PETS. Very shorted stock, but a very good company. And eventually I just said, I don't have time for this. So, and I stopped for years and years, and here I am again. But anyway, I'm gonna just try to do this. I'm a little more patient nowadays. Again, I'm tracking Tesla on the daily, so I have an idea. And although, today it was at 200, so selling a put when it's at 200, maybe that was risky, but I don't care. I just wanted to start a position. I have the money if I need to lower my, my cost basis if I do get assigned to 10 bucks, and I'll go from there. Again, 1.5 leverage, very high risk. I do not recommend it because, again, Tesla is very volatile. It can move up and down drastically. So imagine that times 1.5. You don't want that, especially if you don't have the stomach for it, right? So again, I'm gonna try to take it easy, 1 week at a time. Not gonna rush it. I think my yield for this week, what was it? I annualized like 160%. Whatever the yield came to, it annualized to be 160%, which is obviously really good. However, keep in mind, that's based on the 1,000. But if I take it based on the 3,000, because again, I have 3,000 in cash reserve for this whole process. So I divide that by the 3,000, I'm yielding about 60 to 70%, which is still really good. So as long as I can yield that, I think I'm pretty good. Because obviously, when we buy these YieldMax funds, that's the goal, that's what you want. You want 60 to 70% yield, and that's high. So again, even if I get like 50% plus, that's pretty good. But again, you got to sell puts really close to the money. So it's all part of the game. But anyway, I just wanted to share those two strategies that I'm going to do. Again, the options I'm going to do on my taxable. And I know what everyone's going to say. All right, you're going to have to pay tax. I know. I'm going to have to pay tax. But what am I going to do? I want to make money. So if I want to make money, I got to pay tax. Am I supposed to not work my job because I have to pay tax? I mean, it is what it is. But I'm not going to play that game. Obviously, I'm going to do some trading in the Roth, so I won't have to pay tax on that. But I'm going to do options in the taxable, so I can help. That premium that I make from the options will go to my dividend stocks. So now I'll have premium income, I'll have distributions coming in, and I'll have a weekly deposit. So I have 3 sources of income that can now contribute to my dividend journey, my retire now dividends account. So hopefully it works out. Again, I've just got to be patient with it. So quick update on Coney. Yesterday I mentioned this. I had a strategy. I sold Coney for a profit, and I was going to buy back tomorrow because earnings was going to be bad and it was going to drop. But obviously I was wrong, and earnings it did insane. And then it went up today, and I almost bought Coney at $24, and I decided nope. And I waited, and at the close, guess what? It dropped. I didn't buy it to close. I'm hoping next week it'll drop back down because again, coin has been going up a lot, so I'm hoping it'll settle down soon, and then I can buy back into Coney under my original cost basis, or at least my sell price, because I do want to be in Coney. So right now I'm not in Coney, and it hurts, but I'm not gonna buy at a high just to have it. So I'm gonna wait, be patient. Hopefully I can get into it before the ex-dividend date, and it'll contribute to my monthly income, because it's a big contributor to my monthly income. As you know, they pay $1 to $2. So, but yeah, that's the update on Coney. What else? YouTube. Yeah, I've been really just slacking. I can only get out the daily video lately. I gotta at least get that out. That's the priority. And this week, for example, was mostly just that, right? Sometimes I have a lunch break, I could do it. But I mean, outside of that, I don't know. I got a 3-day weekend coming up, so hopefully I can get something going. But it's just it's been hard. But the daily videos, people like them, and I try to throw in a little extra on these daily video, not too much because it's kind of overkill, but just enough to keep it a little more exciting. So that's the update on the daily videos. I added Curve, which I think people like, and I'll probably add the trade information that I'm doing, but I'm not going to add the options stuff. That'll take too much time. Trades are basic. All right, I bought this 5 shares, whatever. Move on. But yeah. What else? What was I gonna say? Defiance reached out to me, and they asked if I wanted merch and if I wanted to do an interview with Jay and Sylvia, or Jay or Sylvia, or Jay and Sylvia. So I did respond. So I'm not completely putting that off the table. I know I said I don't have time or the technology. So I'll see if I could do this on maybe Zoom on my phone, and I could record it at the same time. Maybe I could do this. I don't know. But because then again, I don't have the laptop I have. It's not going to support that. The one time I tried to go live and stream it, just forget it. It just blew up. It wouldn't work. So it's not going to work if I try to do like a Teams or whatever the hell, Zoom. So I'm not even going to try. I'm not going to waste their time. Someone just beep. But yeah. So I don't know. We'll see, guys. I know you guys have been asking me that, but it's not a priority of mine. But they reached out, so I respectfully answered, and we'll go from there. But again, no promises. We'll see. Again, because it's like, this YouTube stuff takes up some time, man. It's not easy. Which is why, again, I'm still lucky to be in the position I'm in, which is why I'm doing daily videos. To keep the rhythm, right? keep it going because I enjoy this. You know, if this is all I did, I would freaking have a blast. I would do many videos a day. I would cover every fund. But obviously this is not paying the bills. This is just like part-time income. So if one day it becomes like a massive thing, then obviously you would know. But right now it's just like a small little, you know, part-time gig. You know, it pays better than my other. I always worked 2 jobs basically most of my life, up until my mid-30s. But you know, YouTube's already, you know, it's a better part-time gig and all that. So I probably should have, not like I was, you know, good with investing back then, but probably should have thought about it earlier. I don't know if it paid well many years ago, but actually right now it's funny. They say YouTube in January and February is the worst, and people actually don't make videos in those months because the CPM or whatever the hell they call it is low. And obviously I see this, it's happening, but I'm not gonna stop because of that, right? It's because you're still, you know, the channel's still growing, so I don't get why people would just completely stop. But yeah, no, I guess advertisers cut back, so they're not paying YouTube, which means YouTube's not gonna pay us as much, right? I don't know if you guys care about that, but that's just a quick little informational thing. So if you see your favorite YouTubers not posting as much in January and February, that's why. Again, I'm learning as I go. I just became monetized in September of last year, and again, I'm just learning each little bit again. So it's fun though. Again, I'm honored to be in the position I'm in because I'm nobody, just some random dude in the right place at the right time who wants to retire on dividends, right? And everyone wants to, right? Everyone wants to, but it's you know, luckily I enjoy talking about it. I enjoy sharing my journey. I've been sharing my journey for 5 years on YouTube already, but you know, not as successful. It wasn't until these YieldMax funds came out, and then like, you know, it just became boom, just like that, boom. You know, because nobody talks about YieldMax unless it's negative. You know, there's very few YouTubers out there that just like talk positive about it, and because again, it's risky. So the people that have been praising the safer funds like SCHD, VOO, you know, the usual 3%ers, the dividend growth stocks, they're not going to say these are great funds, right? But then again, they probably have million. You know, they could have like over $1 million, $2 million, and then maybe they could live off 3%. But even 3% on $1 million, 30,000, that's not. What's that going to do? If you had $1 million, you know, would you invest all of it in ACHD? No, I wouldn't. If I had $5 million, fine, deal, right? Because I can live off that. But no, 3% is not enough for like the everyday guy. The everyday guy, he wants income now. You know, he wants high income. He'll take the risk. He'll gladly take the risk. And you know, these funds are just like an amazing tool, and I'm just so grateful that they came out. Not only obviously for the YouTube, but for my own income. You know, that's the whole point. In the beginning, I was just like, oh, you know, actually I closed out. Well, I withdrew all my contributions from my Roth to start my journey, which, you know, started around 40K, and I said, screw it, I'm gonna use income now. I have my 401ks, those will be in the retirement account, and you know, everything else will be taxable in the taxable account. Guess what? Which actually brings me up to my last topic, which I was gonna make a separate video on this. I don't know if I will, but it just think about this, guys. Just think about this. If you were to do it all over again, would you put just the company? No, I'm talking about like your 401k. For your 401k contributions, would you just put the company match in and then invest everything else in a taxable? Or would you do it the same? And most people put like what the match plus another 5% or 10%, whatever they can do, right? So, and the reason I ask that is just think about it. Like if you're 22, 24 years old, 25 years old, whenever you start your first full-time job, just to say 24, okay? So 24, and all right, so if you put it in a 401k, what do they tell you, right? They tell you 59, right? 59 and a half. So 59 minus 24, right? So that's 35? Sorry, the thing I'm driving. But anyway, yeah, 50 minus 24, 35. So you need to be okay with not touching that money for 35 years. So you're gonna contribute money. Granted, if it's a Roth, it's tax-free. But you are gonna build up this money and you can't touch it for 35 years. Did you ever just sit back and think about that? Like, why not just put all of it, again, except the company match, because that's free money. But why not just put all of it into a taxable? Yes, I know you have to be taxed, but guess what? You can use that money whenever you want. If you build a dividend income strategy at 24 years old in a taxable income account, within 10 years, you know where that could be? That could be a supplemental income to help support your family, right? Your wife won't have to work when you have kids. Or it'll pay for your vacations or diapers or whatever. But instead, the immediate thought is you're not a smart person unless you max out your retirement accounts. Like, you are stupid to not max out a Roth IRA. You are stupid to not max out a 401k. But, as I get older and time goes on, and the more I think about it, I wish I could get back everything I put in my 401k. I would gladly take it. Take it all. Obviously, except the match. You can't touch that. I would take it all and put it taxable. Because you know what I could do with that? I could live very, very happily. My wife could quit her job tomorrow if I had that money, right? And we could live pretty. We could have, again, with the 25% distribution, safe, high risk, that same allocation I spoke of, even with that method, we would be just fine. Again, not enough for me to retire, but definitely enough for my wife to retire and us to live comfortably between the two income streams, one being the dividend income and one being my income. But instead, it's locked away. Granted, it's a Roth 401k, which is awesome. The Roth is amazing, but it's locked away until I can use it, which technically I can use it 55. Rule of 55, but we'll just say 59, because they tell everyone 59, right? I'm 41, I still can't touch it for 18 years, right? So what the hell good is that? What good is that? What good is that? Because what's the difference if I build up a dividend account in a taxable? If I build it up in a taxable, guess what? It's still going to be there at 59 and a half, So what's the difference? It's not like I won't have retirement money. That retirement money will be there. It's just that I've been paying tax on it all the time, right? So what's the harm in that? What's the harm in just living in a higher tax bracket, living off the high income? The more I think about it, the more, like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Let me max out my Roth 401k and my Roth IRA, and then I have no more money to invest in. People probably do that. I'm sure they do. And I did it last year, and the year before that, and the year before that. I maxed out my Roth because I thought it was, like, awesome. And then what did I put in my taxable? Almost, like, nothing, because I had nothing left. And the more I think about it, again, well, I took all those contributions back, but I need money now. Like, I need income now. I don't give a damn about 59.5. I don't. I don't give two shits. I want to build my account now in an account where I could use the money. I mean, it's great that whatever's in my 401k is going to be there. It's great that it's building up. Don't get me wrong. I'm very happy about it. But if I were to do it all over, this is what I would do. And again, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. I'm not even close to one. I'm just a schlep on YouTube with an opinion, you know, who's been, you know, 41. I'm pretty old. You can see the gray. I got a lot of gray because of children. But, you know, I'm a, you know, I've been around. This is just my thought. So obviously this video is for fun and entertainment. I think I said that. But anyway, this is what I would do. Say I get the job. I started my job that I'm at now. 24 years old. Okay, what do? I immediately put it up to the company match. Okay? So whatever the company matches, whether it's 3%, 5%, 6%, that's what I'm going to put in. I'm going to take the maximum match I can get. Why? Because that is free money. You do not turn down free money. That is something you make work no matter what. I don't care if you're piss poor. You take that company match. You take that company match from day one. Don't miss a damn check without that company match. Because that is free money. It's not really free because you're giving them your blood, sweat, and tears, but you get the gist. Okay, after that, what am I going to do? Well, obviously I'm going to make sure I can pay my bills, support my family, so on and so forth. Okay? You know, by the way, shouldn't have debt. Try to get rid of all the debt. And then, what are you going to do? You're going to open a taxable brokerage and invest. Now, you could do several types of investing. You could do trading, which means, you know, you buy stocks and you trade them for a profit. You know, buy low, sell high. It's pretty simple. Sometimes it doesn't always work out that way. Or you could be a dividend investor, which means you buy stocks that pay dividends. Or you could do options trading. Now, it all depends. Like, if you're 24 years old and you open the taxable account, my guess is you're not going to have many bills. Probably have a school payment, maybe a car payment. But, you know, if you have a lot of income to spare, then you probably don't need the secondary income yet. So all you can do is just build up your taxable. But then say you meet a girl, you get married, you have children, okay? Then the conversation comes up between you and your wife. All right, do we make enough for you to stay home? You know, you won't even have to have that conversation. Because by then, say you have $100,000 taxable brokerage, right? You know what you could do? Nowadays, you can yield 30%. You could yield 40% if you want to, right? And guess what? 40% yield on $100,000 is $40,000 per year. Okay? Or, you know, that's, you know, because it depends what your wife makes too. If she makes a lot, if she makes $40,000, that's a no-brainer. If she makes $60,000, it's kind of a no-brainer too, because daycare will be like $20,000. So it's almost, you know, it's perfect. So 60,000 minus 20,000, which really would be 40,000, and the 40,000 would offset it. So, and most women would want to be home with their children, help raise their children. Some don't, because again, raising kids is not easy, not by any means. So it all depends in every situation. But imagine just having that choice, the freedom of choice in your 30s. You're like, stay home. We make enough. Don't even worry about it. I got dividends, son. I got YieldMax dividends coming in. She'd be like, what the hell's YieldMax? Like, don't worry about it. You can stay home from work. Like, imagine having that option. Anyway, I'm about to pull in my street, so that's all I got for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and have a great weekend. I will talk to you soon. Later.